Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today I am doing an educational video on options flow using the Unusual Whales platform. I'm going to be breaking down the live hot chains ticker and give you guys some insight on what I see in trades. So hope you guys watch to the end and find some value in today's video. If you do, consider dropping that like and subscribing to the channel for future videos like this. Before we start, I am also an affiliate with Unusual Whales, so if you guys would like to save 5% on any paid tier, check out the links down below. I also do have the TradingView affiliate link, and that is my go-to for charting, so definitely check out that as well. So the first thing you want to do from the main page is click on flow. That's going to bring you to this page here, and this might be collapsed or expanded, but if it's collapsed, just expand it, and then you'll need to click on the menu, and this will bring up these categories. So from here, we'll be alternating from filters and menu, but the first thing you want to do is go to live hot chains. This is probably my new favorite place to live now. From here, you're going to want to click filters, and that'll bring us to this tab. So from here, you can see I've already have a few different settings, so I'll break those down in just a second. First thing I want to do is actually input negative Tesla and Apple. The reason I do that is because those are heavily traded options, so I don't need all that noise. Unless you are specifically looking for Apple and Tesla, I don't personally trade these, so I just take these off the list, and that's basically going to remove them from any of this flow coming in. And also, since Nvidia has been very active lately, I'm actually going to also add these guys to the list. So that's going to filter out Nvidia, Apple, and Tesla. Moving on from here, for my current setup, I like to include high ETFs and indexes, also include only volume greater than open interest, and then exclude any in-the-money contracts. And the reason for this is I don't want to see any SPY flow, any NASDAQ stuff. And so by having this turned on, that's going to filter that out. Volume higher than open interest and exclude in the money. The reason I turn these on is because I want to see options that are coming far out the money and also have a lot of volume versus relative to the open interest. And so that's, in my opinion, going to give us an idea that there's a bigger move expected for that certain ticker or chain. For now, we're going to leave the option type both to calls and puts, but you can definitely kind of hide one of these or the others if you're feeling one way or the other for the market. So for example, if it's a very bullish sentiment day, then you might want to just hide the puts, and vice versa. If it's a very red day, bearish sentiment, then you're going to want to hide the calls and just focus on the put side. Before we go further, I do want to remind you this is my current setup. You can obviously tweak some of these settings, but this is what's been working for me lately. It could definitely change down the road, so just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and scroll on down, and I'm going to break down some of these other categories for you guys. So the first category that I actually have any input in is going to be volume. I want contracts to be filtered out 500 or higher in volume. The premium is going to be set to about 300K. Anything underneath won't show up on the flow, and that's because I don't want anything to do with chains that are under 300K. The next one, I think this is pretty important, the volume to open interest ratio. That's going to be the ratio between the volume and open interest. And like I said earlier, we want something with a lot of volume and very low open interest. In my opinion, that's going to most likely give us an assumption that there could be a big move coming for that option chain. The bigger the number that comes in, the bigger delta or difference between these volume and open interest. And the way you can figure this number out is basically the volume divided by the open interest. So for now, we're going to leave that set to 3. The next parameter that I like to set up is this percent multi-leg, and I set this to max 0.2, which in percentage is going to be about 20%. And the reason I like to have a low percent in multi-leg is because I want to filter out any trades that have a lot of multi-leg strategies or any of these more complicated option orders. And so by having a low multi-leg percentage, it's going to filter out all these expansive option trades that can get very confusing. For me, simply, I just want a straight up single-legged strategies. So this is going to be pretty much what's going to filter out all those complicated orders. So the last thing we're going to modify is the DTE, or the date till expiration, and we set that to 35 days. And the reason I do this is because I am a short-term, maybe swing trader, and so seeing flow maybe 60 days out does not really affect my trading. And so we're just going to filter out anything out further than 35 days. And like I said, these are just my settings, so you can definitely modify these to your likings. So if you guys have any good setups or something that works for you guys, definitely drop those in the comments below. One thing I do want to touch bases on is this expiration list here. So if it's early in the week, I will leave the weekly list toggled on. But if it's more of a Thursday or Friday, then I go ahead and toggle these off because I'll be looking for the chains the next week after. Since it was Friday and most of these contracts are already very close to expiration, I decided to take these off and just remove any of that excess noise in the flow. So collapsing that and scrolling back up to the top, we have successfully set up our live hot chains. From here, we can start looking at the flow that's left out after all our parameters are applied. And one thing I like to look at and focus in is going to be percent out the money, volume to open interest, premium, and then like I said, multi-leg, and then the bullish bearish premium here. Now, before we start messing with these, I do want to add that if we're feeling bullish that day and there's no stop to the bullishness and there's only upward tilt, then you can go ahead and hide the puts and just strictly focus on all the calls and see any of the unusual flow coming in for that side of the trade. And so Friday, for example, was that case scenario. So I want to go ahead and hit all these puts here. And one thing I just noticed was Lucid was an extreme outlier today. So we're going to actually remove that just for the educational purposes here. And we can omit that from our flow today. So now that we got that out of the way, the thing I like to do is sort this by premium. So we're going to sort this by highest premium all the way down. And then the next thing we're going to take a look at is going to be the bullish bearish premium bar here, which we have. So since we're looking at calls, we're going to be looking at the chains with the higher ask bid. So 70 is a good one. The one that really caught my eye is this 91%. So we're going to look deeper into this one. And the reason that I've already liked this one is the total percent volume is 11%. So the premium that went into this option chain is about 11% of the total volume. And then the volume to open interest ratio is about 30. So you've got 10,800 contracts versus only 357. And then the last thing, again, we're going to look at the out the money contract percentage. You can see this is about 5.28%. So now that we found an unusual chain with a lot of premium, very low open interest, high volume, and then since it's very small percentage in multi-leg, it's telling us that these orders were most likely simple straight up single order trades, and it equal to about 11% of the total volume. So since I like that chain, what we're going to do next is we're going to click on this date here, and that's going to bring us to this order history here of open interest from previous days. And you just kind of want to look at the history and see that the open interest increases for it, and then also relate that to the volume throughout the days. So things to point out here is very low open interest, very low volume, and then today you had 10,000.8 contracts. That's very highly unusual. Most of them were at the ask. And you can see if you scroll up, this is a nice little histogram bar graph. You can see when these orders were coming in, and these came out towards the end of the day. So there could be potential news coming out next week, or overall the market could just continue doing what it did today and continue going into higher highs. But since this one's a very interesting contract, the next thing we're going to do is show flow for Roku, and we're going to definitely take a look into these orders for this specific chain. Now we're back in this category menu. We're going to filter back to the filters. And one thing we're going to point out is maybe just do a 50 size just to filter out the small orders and see if we can point out those big orders that came in today for Roku. So one thing I want to point out when you take a look at these orders is obviously the size. So this is about 200K, 100K, 114K, and the 100, 200K size premium here now that we filter that out. Also, I want to take a look at the bid and ask spread, and you want to take a look at the spot. So that's kind of important because it's going to obviously tell you how eager they were to get into this position. So the spread for this one was 149 to 151, and they bought them at the ask. This one's definitely more interesting because you have a bigger spread, so they could have definitely put in a smaller bid for it, like maybe 143, 142, but they slapped the ask on these. So that's definitely telling us that, again, that they're more eager to get into this position. And you can see the same thing happens for these other two orders. Similarly, for this 199K, they have the spread from 131 to 134. And yet again, they bought them at the ask. So overall, I think this is a very bullish option chain to watch for the next coming week. The only thing I will say is this is very short term. It's February 3rd, so that is just a weekly. So this is going to be more of a higher risk, higher reward play, but definitely want to keep an eye on. So now that we've basically established that there is bullish sentiment coming in for Roku next week, although they are high risk, high reward, we do want to kind of confirm that with the chart. So the first thing that I'm going to notice on the chart is we broke above 50, retested it, and it held the support, and now it looks like it's going into higher highs. So first target's about 58, 59. But mainly what I'll be looking for is the 61-60 range up here at the top. So removing some of those drawings out of the way, we could definitely have a pullback maybe to 55, but if that holds, then I would definitely be looking for more upside. If it breaks under 55, then we'll probably go back here and retest this $48, $50 range. But again, that'll kind of all be based off the whole entire market sentiment, whether we see the higher high to 60s or come back down to 50. So just coming back to the options flow here, I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we'll actually take a look at one more play and see if there's any unusual flow with this one. And the next one that I noticed is DoorDash $61 calls. These actually have a little bit more date on them. They're 20 days till expiration. They are 4% out the money, so definitely intriguing. Then moving over to the volume to open interest, you can see it's 100, which is basically 2,500 contracts traded versus only 24 open interest. So this option chain was not very active until today. Overall, this is making about 7% of the total volume, so that is definitely very interesting. 0% multi-leg, that is what I like to see in a contract. And then you can see about $1 million premium. So that is a huge amount of money. We're going to actually expand that one and see if we can find some big money flow coming in on these orders. We're going to click on the show flow, and then we're quickly going to filter this out and do about, let's say 25 or 50 just to see if we can find the orders. This actually got alerted on the Unusual Whales flow alerts. So let's quickly filter this out again to 50. And you can simply just click on this and it'll actually aggregate all the orders that could be related. You can see these are 480K order, and this one actually all got executed at the ask 420, no pun intended, and the spread was wide. So 410 to 420, they all got slapped near the ask at 420. So that is very bullish in my opinion. I believe there's one more order. So this one, the first one is 480. And I think there was one other one when I saw this one earlier of 530. So almost $1 million just on 2 big orders. And they all came around the same time, 12:51:09 and then 14:10. So a little bit before market close. So the first one, they all got executed at 420. The first 500K order, the 530 came in at 415 where the spread was $4, and then they slapped the ask on these. So very eager to jump in these positions. This one's probably going to be a very big watch on my book this week. Let me know your thoughts. Let's hop on over to the chart and see what we can find out. Moving over to the chart, we are going to be looking at this on the 1 hour since our contracts do have a little bit more time than the last ones. These expire not until February 17th, so about 20 days out. First thing I'm going to note is this could be breaking out to our first target 62, and then our main target is going to be about $65. The first thing by zooming out you're going to see is this does look like a potential double bottom. So this I'm going to go say most likely we retouch that $65. Again, it came back down. There's some consolidation, as you can see, broke out, came back to that $56 range, consolidated this whole time, and now it looks like it's making its way back up to about $62. If it breaks back underneath 55, then I would give up on this trade since we could come back down to these $50, $46 range down here. But overall, there's definitely some good risk reward here. We're near 58 and it's got up targets to about 65, so about a $7 move to the upside. Again, I would definitely watch the indexes entirely, and honestly just make sure that a lot of these options do carry over. So one thing you can do tomorrow or Monday is see how much of this volume actually sticks overnight, and these people basically continue to hold these positions, and you'll be able to tell that with the open interest. So previously, like example here, there was four contracts traded, and you can see all 4 of those contracts that were traded were held overnight. You can see the open interest moved from 20 to 24. So that's basically how it's going to tell you that these contracts are still being held. So similarly for Monday or whenever we see these update, you'll see hopefully that these 25 contracts did update, or at least majority of them. So let's move back over to the live hot chains ticker. Obviously today was very bullish. So like I said, we did hide all the puts. But inversely, you could do the same thing and just simply hide all the calls. If you guys are feeling like it's going to be a very bearish day, or you're just simply looking for puts only, then we can do the opposite and hide all the calls. And then for the puts, you'll want to take a look at the bullish bearish premium to the bearish side, and so you'll be looking at the red bar. So this one, for example, these 19.5 for 217, I'll be looking at something like this for anything with higher bearish premium here. And then again, just to review the areas of focus, I look at the bearish bullish premium, multi-leg, total volume, premium, volume to open interest, and then the out the money percentage. And of course, you can definitely modify any of these other parameters to give you certain flows that you're interested in. So guys, that's just a quick video of my personal setup on the live hot chain tickers. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys did, please consider dropping a like, subscribe to the channel for more future videos like this. Again, all my affiliate links are down below if you guys would like to save a little extra on any of your paid tiers. And if you guys have any setups that work really well for you, definitely leave those in the comments below. Thanks for watching today's video. You guys have a great day, and as always, keep moving forward.